Hello.
So, how have things been? I've seen you on the Ness Cord posting quite a bit. It looks like you had some. I think you beat a Sheik and then lost to a Sheik at a recent tournament, Critical
Yeah,
Mass. And then I also saw that you went last stock in a bunch of games versus Calvar, which was quite impressive. Yeah, so your numerous successes aside, how have things been?
things have been great in general. As you probably saw, Critical Mass was great. After that, I got top 64 at Critical Mass, and then got third at Terminal Velocity, which was the HDR regional that happened right afterwards. Uh, and basically the past couple of days, I've just been doing the top 8 graphic and uploading all the VODs and stuff for that tournament. So,
Nice. Okay.
yeah.
So you got like top 64 at Critical Mass. How many entrants were at Critical Mass?
I want to say something like 130 or something. From my impression, a lot of it is like it was capped at 160, and a lot of the people that ended up going are like most of the harder melee grinders, as opposed to a lot of people that might have uh wanted to go to a bigger tournament, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, both wins I ended up making were upsets.
Nice. I'm just taking a look at the result. I haven't really had a chance to look at the results. So I'm just taking a look at those now. How have you been finding so in terms of your play, what have you been what have you been happy with? Um what's been working for you if you had to say.
Yeah. I guess some of the main stuff that's been working the best for me. Uh, I'm starting to feel like I can start uh, having some longer extended punishes as opposed to a couple months ago. I'm getting more comfortable with my edgeguard flowcharts. A lot of matchups are I'm developing game plans and frameworks for how to approach them, which is overall helping me both online and the few brackets that I tend to enter. Uh, and yeah, I think overall just being more immersed in Melee is also making my decision making in that game a lot better, which is translating and getting my hands and mind basically in sync when I'm playing sets.
That's awesome. I know
Yeah.
last time when we talked about some of the challenges of playing multiple games, and in particular, we kind of cited Melee's lack of a buffer. So I know that one of the things I suggested was like kind of taking advantage of UnclePunch and kind of immersing in some of the things that give you like concrete indicators of like when you're like hitting your timings like perfectly, or like give you an approximation of how effectively you're hitting your timing. Have you been able to use any of that in your practice, or have you been finding that just being on the grind again is enough? Or yeah, like I'm just wondering if anything came of that.
I have been using UnclePunch a bit more. I took your suggestion regarding the reversal training, and I'm trying to practice a bit more just different options I have out of those, or out of shield against different characters. Sometimes perfect wave dash out into grab, sometimes up smash out of shield, uh, sometimes just like
I think I saw
fair
you
or
double
tear.
jump cancel up air somebody in one of the clips. Like DJ's, I think it was a Fox up smash, and I think I saw you DJC up air out of shield, and I was quite happy to see that.
Yeah, I think that was one that I practiced the most actually. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. Bit more ledge dash training. I tend to do a lot of exercise, but I've also started incorporating just regular L cancel training so that I could also hit it during the hit lag of dares,
Mm-hmm.
as well as fairs, since the multi hits can sometimes mess me up in this game.
The multi Ness's fair is one of the hardest moves to L cancel consistently in this game, and I will die on that hill. Like
Hmm.
it's not easy, but it sounds like you're working it sounds like you're working within the systems that are available to you, and it sounds like you're working pretty effectively with them. That's really good to hear. So I guess with that in mind, my question then would be, if I flip it to you, how do you foresee today being productive? Like, what do you have in mind today?
So I actually did want to go a bit deeper into what I can do with UnclePunch, because I'm still not really used to the tool. There's a lot of things I'm basically just kind of using some of the basic of... Here, let me just pull up the game real quick. I
Sure.
think it'll be easier to explain if I already have it open.
Yeah, for sure. I can bring up UnclePunch on my end too, so I can kind of keep up, and we'll figure this out
Sure.
together. Because Lord knows I have like an addiction to labbing.
Yeah, same.
What do you find you usually get drawn to for labbing?
Well, in this game so far, it's been a lot of tech skill and just, I guess, the basics of that. Some things that I do intend to lab a lot more. I've started doing yo-yo glitch labbing. I've really intend to get my recovery angles down a lot better, since right now I'm kind of just... I think I have them mostly good, but I do want to be a lot more consistent in the angles I choose with that. General movement practice, everything that I basically just described. And then occasionally I will also just what was the last one? Edgeguarding flowcharts. Sometimes I will try and possession characters off stage and have the record functionality of UnclePunch so that I can words aren't coming right now.
It's okay.
So I can practice edgeguarding basically. So that's basically everything that I've been doing so far.
That makes sense. For me, I've been playing a lot more Falco lately, and for me, the big thing for me, I'm just trying to understand his lasers better right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that neutral concepts are like a big thing that I do. Were you able to get the game loaded? I currently can't see anything on your end.
Yeah, I actually can. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
There.
Perfect. So let me just pull that to the front. Excellent. So so you mentioned that you want to get better at using UnclePunch. That all makes sense. What's something that you would like to? What's something that you feel you're not getting like as much value out of it as you'd like to?
I think the biggest thing is I want to be able to lab out punishes on different characters. A lot of the time when I review my VODs or I'm just playing and an idea just comes into my head, I want to go into the training lab or something along those lines and practice it on that DI, on that character, and just figure out what my combo trees are. I'm not exactly the most familiar with how to do that.
Sure. So let's start with somebody kind of common, because I think that it's usually good to start with somebody who we see a good amount of the time, you know? So it's not too. So let's start with let's do Falco. Ness versus Falco. And
Sure.
just because he's easy to work with. So let's go to, how do you feel about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable would you say you are with your FD punish?
2.
Okay, let's go to FD.
It's currently my worst stage.
Let's go to FD. So what's a DI that you find that you would like to be better at?
Pull DI away on up throw in order to try and get either an up air or a regrab.
Cool. So let's go into the menu. We're gonna do 3 things. So let's start with general. Let's do DI display on. So this won't work for like throws, but it'll work for everything. It'll work for everything except throws and Sheik. Sheik is kind of bugged because of like being Zelda technically, but that's fine. That's neither here nor there. Now let's go out of here and into CPU options. We're gonna turn Smash DI frequency off or none. Yep, and trajectory DI outwards. So you'll notice we have a bunch of options here, so I'll walk you through what some of the other ones do. So outwards means that, like, if we think about DI as being like a range of values, this is going to be the one that puts the opponent as far away from you as possible at all times. So, like, whatever the coordinate is that, like, moves you away from them, it's going to be that one. Inwards is the opposite. So if we go to, like, inwards, that's the alternative. Now, there's going to be two more. There's a few more. Floor hug basically means ASDI, like holding down. And then the last one, custom, before we get to none. None is actually sometimes useful, but like custom allows us to like set up the DI inputs as we want them. So if there's very specific follow-ups we're interested in, this is a good way to control that. But let's just go back to outwards just for funsies. And we'll go from here. So then we'll do right on the D-pad to like save this spot. And now go for it. Try it. And then he'll keep doing that. Left to reload the save state.
All right.
So does this make sense?
Yeah.
I like dash attack actually after the up air. At around like after 30, I like up air into dash attack. Sometimes. Might be a little bit higher.
Okay.
But you can see that how this could be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, let me see if I can find something. Because I remember labbing this particular idea out a while ago. I'm just trying to see if I still have the clip of it. Up throw, dash attack, messing with this, 74, nope. But yeah, so this is like... But yeah, this is just very... This is a good way to like get used to the different things that you can do. One thing I would recommend with this is a fast fall, because fast fall, like turning the fast fall OSD on, so it won't be here, it'll be in the main menu. But fast fall I find is really important with Ness, because you would be amazed at how much time we lose by just not having... by not fast falling after up airs and stuff. Like, it's actually quite a bit. So I would, if you go exit, then in the L, you can turn OSDs on. And I would strongly suggest fast fall timing.
There.
Yeah, fast fall timing. And if you want to increase it, you can use X to bump it up. Y to bump it up. Or X, yeah, you can just toggles through. I would also consider L cancel. L cancel, that would be a big one too. Yeah, and then just you can head... If you want to add a third one just for fun, I do act out of lag. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just a quick one.
Yep.
That I expect I'd want. Is there one that also shows... I guess frames of wave dash or wave dashing.
Wave dashing.
So
yeah, wave dash info.
Oh, okay.
So it only allows you to do 4 though, so you'd have to get rid of one or take off UCF. I don't recommend taking off UCF just because that's what that's what all the tournaments use. So. Yeah. I would recommend, but you can see, like, you can mix and match between these, and they'll give you lots of information. Sometimes I only put a few of them on. It really just depends on what you need. But, yeah.
So, setting it up again.
Here we go. Let me send you something I figured out a while ago. Just so you can take a look at it. To get some ideas on how because I've used this in like similar ways, but this is something I figured out with Falco. On Falco if he holds away.
All right.
You see how it works, right?
Yeah. So around higher percents, up air dash attack on outward DI is something that Ness can consistently get.
Yeah.
To catch him as he's landing. Gotcha.
Yeah, so one of the cool things, and you can see that with it. One of the cool things here is I like to combine this with ikneedata, because not to like do like the combo labbing per se, but like to get a sense of where my attacks put the opponent. So like let me show you something else that's kind of cool. Because this is like, I feel like this kind of labbing with low tiers is like really important because we don't have the same like raw data where we can just like figure everything out the way that top tiers do. But I'm just trying to find, where's dash? Ness, dash. Here we go. Late. So something cool, something really neat about Ness's dash attack. I'm just gonna pop this back in. Exit full screen, return to app. So something really, really neat about Ness's dash attack that I'm going to show you is that the Ness's dash attack third hit, it's hitting this way on Fox, but you'll notice that the range of trajectories on it don't actually allow Fox to like really, like let's do this on FD so it's it displays easier. Yeah, so it actually hits up and towards him as its natural trajectory. That makes sense, right? Because, like, if we think about where... We'll use Donkey Kong because he's a little bit easier to see this on. If we think about where Ness's third hit of dash attack hits, which is the one that we're doing in that, like, clip I just sent you, like, that's the part we're trying to connect on him, the dash attack hits them... Like, if they DI away from it, it puts them here. So this is them holding in the direction that Ness is running in. If they hold against it, they go towards Ness, which is usually fine for us because they get popped up. And I think that this is kind of like one of the things that's useful about ikneedata and other like things and other repositories that have like the natural trajectory just kind of like baked into them, because we can then see like what parts of the moves are exploitable. In general, if an attack pulls the opponent towards you, that's like one of the things that I usually look for being a good move, because or a move with a lot of potential, because it means that like the way that you normally defend against it by holding out doesn't work on it. And that's kind of why I've like figured out a lot of this dash attack stuff with Ness, just because it's like it just has the ability, like it doesn't let the opponent like hold away, and if they hold towards Ness, then we just keep comboing them, which is kind of what you're seeing in that clip I have with the Ness dash attack thing. Because the Falco's holding outwards, but okay, so like that means that they're going this way in the context of it because it puts the most distance between the two of them. But if they hold the other way, that just means they pop up here and we could still finish the combo with like up air to back air or like nair to back air or back air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's basically like if we took Falco's shine and we flipped it around in terms of its like hit trajectory. So things like that are usually quite strong and worth looking for, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you send that tool to me?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get that to you.
Yeah.
So ikneedata. Because it's basically a trajectory calculator for attacks. And you can do things with it like calculate like here, let me show you something else I did with it the other day. Because I think this might also give you a sense of like how you can lab things more effectively. So let me pull this back. Let me put this back on my screen. So we know that Ness's dare is like one of his best moves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So pick a character you hate.
Dr. Mario.
I love that. More people should hate Dr. Mario. So like, let's see here. So where is he? Doc? Cool. So we're on FD right now, which is also a very we hate Dr. Mario stage. So let's say we want to figure out when we kill him. So we have Doc here. Do you think that down throw? Do you think that dare up air will kill him at 80? No, at 94 or 95?
No.
Well, let's find out. Let's, like, for the fun of it, let's figure this out. So we have saved. What I've done here is this. If I go to this move, this is going to be the first hit that I've started with. So this is like this move here. If I go to this second move, which allows me to do, I'm going to do combo snapping on, snap to surfaces no. So what I've done here is like snap to surfaces on. So you can see like on this first move here, we're hitting him with down air. We're going to get rid of that. Then we're like what we're doing is we're adding a second move to this. So we have to decide where that move goes. So we're going to pick a new move. We're going to pick up air. So it is currently starting from the original point where this guy was hit, which is here. But if we move it and attach it to like any of these points, we can then get a trajectory range for like where he's hit. And now we're hitting him to this way because our Ness is going to be facing over here, and that's what we're doing with the hit direction. Does all this make sense so far, or am I going too fast?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what we can see here is actually we do kill him at 95. Because this is the furthest that he can possibly DI sideways. Because like he can't go more precise inputs here because of the dead zone. Mm-hmm. So this actually is expected to kill him at this %.
Wow.
Yeah. So let me just make sure I've done this right. So like it should be 95 on this hit. And then when we attach this here. Okay, cool. So it's not quite, because this should be attached here, but this doesn't make sense because this should be 2 higher. This should be 117. No, 107. But we get pretty close. Like, okay, so we don't quite kill him. If he DIs perfectly. If he DIs upwards, like if he DIs straight up, he definitely does die. But like you can see the utility of this. Like knowing that that he dies if he holds up, like if he holds anywhere to the side here. Well, this just means, well, what if we reverse back air here? Because we could also hit reverse back air at this spot too, right? Because it hits going forward. So if we bared here instead, like, yeah, this is how I figure out, like, and then obviously, like, if he DIs upwards, oh, actually, according to this, it doesn't matter where he DIs because he's in the corner. So this is actually giving us information about, like, how our kill confirm works. And at what point things kill him. On floatier characters, on floatier characters though, like you can actually get earlier kills, than you would otherwise this way. I think I labbed at Peach. You can actually like dare up air her in this kind of position and kill her at like 86 or something. But this is like some of like dare hitting her at 86 and then everything else like linking up kind of like in a similar way of this. So I would say that like this ikneedata can be a useful tool for getting ideas on like when things might work and to get a sense of like where your kills are possible and how much time you have to do things, because it's a calculator. That's what it's for. And then I'd say UnclePunch can be a really good resource for then like taking those ideas over here or some of the things that we like, because this is easy to like test like this is nice and convenient for fiddling with like big picture level. I'd say that UnclePunch then becomes really useful for testing the viability of it, or like whether or not it's within our skill set at a given point. Because like we don't know if like this will actually be easy to hit or not. Do you want to try it though?
Sure. I guess there's actually one other thing that I wanted to see while we're still on this tool.
Yeah. Ask
actually
away.
2 things. The first one is, can we just quickly, is there a way to quickly switch between bear and up air, so that, for example, if they're DIing perfectly for up air, what % will reverse bear then kill, since that's the DI mix-up?
Yeah, so I don't know of that. I don't know of that personally. Like, I think you can just toggle between the 2 moves. And then from there, it's just kind of like trial and error. Like, So I would say that, like, so for up air, we're hitting him here. So up air on the DI, on the horizontal way, like hitting up air here, if he's at 116 going into the hit, then that will do it. But the thing is, like, by increasing the damage on the down air going into it, we're also going to be increasing, like, where he's hit from. So, like, it might kill him at 90. Let's try, like, or at 100. Let me double check that one. So then it would just be add this, add up air, add this here. So it's not quite at 110. The other thing that's weird is that it's not adding the damages properly. Oh, because it has a stale in the queue. Okay, that would do it.
Oh, that was the second thing I was about to ask, actually. If there's a stale queue.
Yep, stale queue is right here. So, so that's actually been screwing with our numbers, funnily enough. So the fact that, like, oh, and I know why it got there. It's because it did down air onto down air, so then it staled the second. Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, so let's see here. Because now it's not doing it anymore, so now it's, like, killing him properly. Because now it's like, yeah. So I would say that, like, I'd say the hardest part of, like, doing interchangeable, like, of doing moves like that, like, interchangeably, is just getting the initial move right, and, like, initial move percent right, especially when you're testing kill percents on 2-hit combos. Yeah, but because, like, there's a bit, like, swapping between these moves, swapping between the moves on move 2 is easily, because, like, that's just a matter of just, like, selecting the other move. Like, that part is pretty straightforward. But it's everything else that's kind of tricky. Navigating them into the right spot, basically. And on that, like, actually, yeah, we can see that at this point, it does actually kill, like, because I think we just had bear here, so if we do clean, yeah, it actually does kill sooner, like, oh wait, no, because we weren't hitting in the right direction. Yeah, they kill at, like, roughly, they both kill at 100, which is, like, crazy. So, but at 90... if we do this, and then we just separate this out a bit. Okay, no, but, like, it still will... So what you have to do is you have to detach it. If you detach it and then reattach it, it'll still tell you. Okay. Like, it'll adjust the percent. So that's actually something I didn't know. So I have learned something new today. But it's basically, like, what you would want to do to compare the moves is you would want to toggle the percent on the first one, and then keep track of, like, what's going on the second hit. But there's no way to, like, save, but, like, without saving it or starting a new one, I don't think that there's a way to do that. But I've also never watched the tutorial, so I might not be the best, like, the most equipped person to answer all those questions. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we've covered staling. It's down there in the bottom left. And yeah, for toggling, I just kind of do it as I go, because I just make notes in the side, like, in the margins as I go through it. But, like, I make notes on, like, an independent sticky page, like, while I'm doing it. But yeah, like, whatever works for you. Maybe there is a way, but it might involve this tutorial. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Legit, the potential of a tool like this, without even having to go in game and actually test it manually. I wish I've had this. I wish I've had this for, like, the past decade in PM, dude.
It's so useful. I remember when I was, like, when the Ness chord started getting more, like, alive again, I was like, do any of you want to know how I do any of this stuff? And then people were like, no, it's fine. I'm like, are you sure? And then I think, like, 3 people were like, yeah, okay, we'll learn. And I'm like, okay, 3 out of 12, that's fine. This is good. This is, like, I can work with this. But yeah, like, as you can see, like, I think that, like, granted I haven't played the character in a bit because I've been just playing other characters and having fun with them, but, like, I think that, like, I probably had the best combo game out of the Ness players, and, like, I think that using tools like this is, like, a big part of why, because it just gave me, like, a really good, like, foundation to, like, compare things against. Yeah. That's it, really.
Yeah. I've got no other comments on ikneedata.
Yeah, so like let's test some of it. Why don't we put some of this theory into practice? Let's grab Dr. Mario and see if we can get that kill on him. Because we said 90%, 95% stomp when he's holding, like when he's doing DI outwards, we should always be able to reverse back air him.
Mm-hmm. Did we say 90%?
I'll double check it. 90%, yes. And we'll turn Smash DI frequency off. And yeah, we should be good. We'll save here. And let's try to stomp reverse back air him. Or stomp back air him. Just hit him on the other side. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh, he's just DIing inward. Okay. Like, DIing, like, that way. That's okay. Don't worry about it. The important thing is to just get the hit on him. Okay, so we need to go a little bit faster. Okay, and did we say that that would kill at that percent? I think we said... So he actually can survive with perfect inward DI, so that is, like, congruent with what we're thinking. Let's put him to... Let's toggle him up to, like, 90... Let me just set the values here. Snap to surfaces, because we need this. Let's toggle him up to 93. Okay, let's give him... Oh yeah, because he's not fading in afterwards. Or, okay, he's barely fading in. Let's do him... Yeah, let's do him 90. Let's put him at... Oh, wait. It didn't save the damage we added.
That's right.
Yeah, let's just, like, let's put him to 93 and then, like, save here. And we'll see what happens. Oh, there we go. That was the desired effect.
Awesome.
So, like, what we know is, like, this just is a straight-up kill in this kind of position. Like, this is a straight-up kill. If we set him to 100, let's go for the up air. Because we know that that is also a guaranteed kill, and it's probably easier. Let's do him DI outwards at 100 as well. So remember, it doesn't save the percent. So we need to, like, manually adjust that here.
Yeah. I was not prepared for that.
That's okay.
There we go.
Okay, so maybe we need to go a little higher, or maybe he fell too much, because it's, like, at the very peak of the thing that it... There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So you can see, like, it gives us the subtle difference of, like, hitting at the, like, when he's, like, starts falling from the trajectory versus when he's at, like, versus hitting him at the very top of it, right? So, like, these are, like, you can see how that's, like, how that's actually really useful, because it gives us the idea of, like, the difference between, like, hitting him with knockback stacking and hitting him without. Because once he goes over the hump, then he doesn't have it anymore. And he also won't be as high up. Yeah. So, upon seeing that, any thoughts?
I really like the ability to be able to just, like, quickly get the idea down on ikneedata and then translate that directly into UnclePunch. One other question I have, just quickly while it's on my mind, is there a way to lock CPU percents? So if I'm... There's been a couple situations, but let me just, like, think.
That's probably more of a combo training thing, but, like, you could do it. Like, ask your question, though.
Yeah. So in Smash Ultimate, and by extension HDR, in the training room, it's a default option where you can just have the character stay at the percent despite getting hit. Is there something similar in this?
I do not know of that option. I would be surprised if, like, if there's a Gecko code out there that exists that allows you to do that, maybe there's something like that, but I just don't know of that being something in here.
All right. That's unfortunate. There's been a couple of times where I've kind of
Missed
wanted
that.
to get there. Yeah. Well,
I totally understand that, and I wish I had a more positive answer. I don't know of it. Yeah. So I think
yeah.
that this is definitely like something, and I think that like, oh, the other thing, you had DI display on too. Did we, or did we not? Did we not put that back on?
I don't think we did.
So that's actually something I want us to put on, because it's actually like a really useful thing. Oh, we've accidentally put environment collision on. Yeah. So I just want you, like, with DI display on, I just want you to hit him a bit. Like, hit him, like, put him to, like... It's like, hit him to, like, yeah. So it gives you the trajectory of his DI when he's hit. So you can follow the curve and kind of, like, aim, like, align yourself to hit at the end of it.
Alright. I know this is an option in other games, but I never actually kind of figured how to use it. Also, just being able to visualize when they're out of hit stun seems pretty nice.
Yeah, because like Melee is a pretty punishing game when you drop things. So like the one thing I would say that like is a really good habit in general is get used to turning Smash DI frequency off, because Smash DI frequency, like, it sounds silly, but it messes up a lot of experimentation, especially when you're dealing with things like crouch cancel. And it might not seem like it does so, but I'll tell you why it does. So, with ASDI down, or crouch cancel, or anything like that that involves, like, slide off or things like that you might be testing, what Smash DI does is it sometimes puts the character above the, like, I'm hugging the ground line. And that is a problem, as you can probably imagine, because it completely messes that up, that entire mechanic up completely. And there's no real way to fix it without just turning it off. So, and the other thing is that, like, the computers smash DI way more than actual players do. Like, when they say 33%, they mean on every single frame, there is a 33% chance of them smash DIing. So, like, it is not, like, it's not a low, medium, high thing. It is, like, a low, medium, like, it is a, like, high, incredibly high TAS type thing. So, like, it's like, you have, like, Armada, your settings are basically, like, European, box player, TAS. Like, these are, like, so it doesn't really approximate, like, what real humans, like, smash DI in any capacity whatsoever. And I think that's an important thing for us to acknowledge.
Yeah. I will be sure to turn that off. Is there any way to actually save the settings?
Oh my god, I wish. I wish. And I'm actually gonna, I kind of want to Google that now. UnclePunch save settings. It looks like, okay, so it looks like there's kind of like ways to, it looks like there are ways of doing it, but they feel very like they feel very roundabout, in that, like, basically it looks like people do save states and then load them, but like I don't see of a way to, like, just save a setting that's, like, interchangeable across different characters or something.
Okay. Again, unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, like, I'm actually, like, I'm looking up through Reddit now, and, like, I don't see much. Yeah.
One more thing on UnclePunch while we're here. For custom trajectory DI.
Yep. How does it work?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for this, we're gonna want a character who we are actually, like, comboing a little bit more. Like, actually, Doc is fine. Sure. Let's actually do, like, Captain Falco. Falcon or Captain... One of the fast fallers, any of them. Cool. So let's do now, like... We'll do custom DI. Turn smash DI frequency off. Perfect. Custom DI. And then we're going to set the first hit to, like, to the left. Second hit to the right. And the third hit to the left. And I want you to do the up throw chain grab on him for those hits. And see what happens. Gotta jump cancel the grab.
Gotcha.
So you see how he goes in the other direction. Because and then he stops. So that is how it works. So while he is being comboed, he will follow the sequence of hits of DI inputs as you have laid them out. But if he ever is out of the combo, if he's ever out of the combo, he will default back to the first hit. And if you exceed the number of hits, then he just starts DIing neutral.
Okay.
So a lot of times, like, what I've done is I'll have, like, the first 3 hits, and then on the rest of it, it'll just be, like, away, 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 away. Or, like, or it'll be, like, in. Or, like, up and in, down and away, something like that. Like, I'll set the first bits of the combo, and then, like, the last of it, I'll just, like, load up with, like, some placeholder or some, like, relatively common DI that, like, I need to deal with. And yeah, that'll kind of be the end of it.
Okay.
But it basically lets you tell the CPU exactly where you want them to, like, DI sequentially while they are in hit stun. On each new hit. It's very powerful and very useful, but it does take, like, it's not as... you need to have a very specific idea of what you're, like, looking for with it in order for it to be effective. Because if the opponent pops out of stun, even for a frame, they will not, like... They won't follow the next step. They'll go back to step 1. So that's kind of my word of warning with it.
Okay.
It's very useful for chain grabs and things like that, though. Like, very useful for set play when you know that there's, like, specific, like, things that are difficult for you. Especially, like, I find one of the ones that comes up with me is if I'm doing a chain grab and, like, people are doing slight DIs. It can be very helpful for practicing those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because even if you know the pattern, just having the muscle memory down of, like, of what it feels like to do those things, in a bit more of a controlled environment before you go into combo training or something like that, it can be very useful for things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense, or?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Awesome. So, with that in mind, we've covered a lot of UnclePunch. Is there anything else with UnclePunch that you find that you're not getting value out of, or, like, you'd like to know more about? I know we haven't really covered save states and much. Is that something you've already, like, played around with? It sounds like, I'd imagine, like, with other games, you probably have some experience with that, but I just figured I'd ask.
I do not have experience with save states in other games. The training room tools are not very developed in mod games, unfortunately.
Ah, okay, cool. So that's probably a misconception on my part. So, I don't know. What would you like to know how to do? Would you like to know how to make some simple save states in this game?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What's something that you would want to use a save state to practice?
I guess let's build off of what we already... Let's say I want to do up throw combos, but with some specific DIs, like, say, very slight DI in, hard down and away.
Yeah, everything. I mean, like, the simple save states that we've already created can help you with that. Like, to me, that's just a matter of, like, of using the left and right. I mean more sophisticated, save states where the opponent is actually doing something actively with you. So, like, here, let's pause. Let's go out of here. Let's go into replay or recording. So then save positions. So then we're going to take control over Falco real quick. So we're going to go to CPU mode, record. Control is, you could also, control lets you like move him around a bit, but let's go to do control. Yeah, record. And we'll just do, so right now he is recording at this very moment, so that's okay. Let's just let's pause again. We're going to go to off. We're going to unpause. And then we're going to go back into record, and then we're going to do short op laser with him. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, go to playback, which should be the last one.
It did not fully unrecord, it seems.
Okay, that's okay. So, we'll pause. We'll just do save positions, because save positions wipes the slate completely. And then we'll just go to record short op laser. And then playback. So now, if you want him to do that, keep doing that, or things like it, you just go to loop input playback on. So you have created your first input loop. So, what's a move that you think would be good to practice against? Other than short up laser, of course.
I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
Why don't we do his down air? Down air seems like a good one. So let's go to slot 2. And then we're going to do in record, we're going to do a short hop down air into short hop down air, and then we're going to buffer spot dodge at the end.
Okay. Should I be approaching or anything?
Up to you. Depends on how you want to practice. Yeah. Perfectly fine. So then we're gonna do playback, and now I want you to then try to yeah, exactly. So you can, so you want to, so he's gonna keep doing that like that. So if you, yeah, you can see, I wouldn't have had him move so far forward. I probably would have just done him in place. So you can practice, and I would have also made sure to hit the L cancel. But you can see how this can be used. But you can see how minor execution things aside, you can see how this can be a really useful tool, right? Because you can basically get him doing the problem moves into some standard defensive options, and practice get used to the timings on counter hitting them, or what it looks, or practice what you have, where you have to be in order for your moves to overpower him. Mm-hmm. So if you want to re-record that, all you have to do is just restore positions, and then just and then re-record. Yep.
I guess. Yeah.
And then just make sure to spot dodge after. So make sure to get the L cancel.
Yeah.
And turn. Oh, you're on record for Ness right now too.
Oh. Oops.
So just restore positions, totally fine, and then, yeah, that'll work. If you're practicing a hit with yeah, there we go, perfect. Love it. Now we can do playback. Don't re-record that. That was perfect. Because he's just gonna keep doing it, and you have you even have the window. So what you want to do is you want to grab him out of you want to grab him as he lands with the down air.
Okay.
So you can see what the window is. It's tight.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And I bet that felt really good to hit too.
Yeah.
So you can see the utility of this kind of tool, because I would always try to jump cancel grab with Ness if I can. You're doing a lot of dash grab, but yeah, his jump cancel grab is just faster.
Sadly, as a result of the fact that Ness's dash grab in PM actually has notably longer range, that's something that I want to go for more often, which means that I don't exactly have my JC grabs down.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
What I would recommend doing, try quarter circling. Try, just because I feel like the input will be less weird, try quarter circling the jump cancel grab. Go up and then, yeah.
I see. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's very easy.
Because, like, it's not...
Sadly,
Huh?
I was about to say sadly not a solution I can apply in games where I have tap jump off, but
But
it
the
will do
thing...
just fine.
But the nice thing here is that you're not adding another, like, button input, because I feel like making your stick do something slightly different is a lot less, like, weird than... Like, if you add, like, a slight curve to your, like, stick input, it's a lot less weird than, like... And, like, yeah, you can see, like, it looks a lot more natural for you.
Yeah. Alright. I guess that solves my jump cancel grab input problem.
Like, which one
Thank
do
you.
I do? Oh yeah, no problem. Like, the only drawback is it's hard to, like, crouch cancel grab while doing that, but I mean, like, a lot of times when we're doing that, like, grab, we're doing it during combos and stuff, right? So, like,
Yeah.
chain grabs, so it's like, whatever, who cares? Like, yeah. But yeah, I think that, and, like, worst case scenario, especially if you're clawing, you can always C-stick the ASDI down input, it's all good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad that we, like, spent some time. I find that inputs and input complexity is something that we as, like, Melee players don't really spend a lot of time on in general. Like, we don't really look at, like, the physical component of this game very often, if ever. And it's kind of a shame because, like, this is a very physical game. Like, the game cannot be played at the level that the game's engine is capable of doing. So that naturally means that there's going to be a physical component just because there's going to be a limit to, like, what humans are capable of. It's not like chess where, like, all the moves are technically available to you. There are certain moves in this game that are simply not available to people in a way that they would be in chess because we don't have the luxury. Like, there's going to be a physical component that we can't surpass at some point. And I find that, like... I find that that's an interesting dynamic, but we never really, like, confront that.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of what makes games like these so fun. Being able to push yourself to the limit isn't just in terms of decision making and, like, the mix-ups you can apply, but also just physically, can you hit, like, this one frame perfect thing, for example, to what extent does your combo tree open up because you have very, very tight inputs, I guess. It was actually a discussion that some of the PM folks were having the other day about getting the most out of VOD reviewing top players and, like, understanding how the different execution levels of different top players impacts their decision making at that level. So Malachi can go, for example, for I don't remember the exact thing that they were discussing, but there's some options open to Malachi because he can hit something perfectly 100% of the time that, like, someone like DVD or Sosa might not be able to get. And that just was interesting to me to say.
Yeah, and I think that, like, kind of comes through in, like, so one of the things before you, I was doing I was looking at Peach Dittos with Giancarlo, and he was just, like, we watched, like, B-Bats versus Triff, and one of the things I noticed that, like, that really stood out, and this is more of, like, this isn't really, like, a physical limitation kind of thing, but, like, it's just, it kind of has an experiential thing, and I think that those two tend to go together. Is Triff has a lot of experience playing Peach Dittos versus Armada, like, and I noticed that there was just, like, a certain level of calm with him when it got to, like, when he was at, like, 180% or, like, 140% against B-Bats, that, like, B-Bats looked really anxious and ready to, like he had to get the kill. Like, there was just something about him that, like, required him to, like, advance forward and try to, like, progress the game state in a way that just wasn't present with Triff. And I think that, like, Triff's superior execution in, like, a lot of those spots and, like, his experience fighting Armada and, like, the standard, like, and, you know, there's no other way to put it, but, like, the standard of, like, discipline that he's had to hold himself to in order to survive in, like, the European environment is just like it's so much less scrappy. So he looks completely content at like 140 to like still like play out the game. Like there's no like sense of like urgency from him to like get what damage he can, or like force hits, or like check out, or be like, yeah, this is enough. Like there's no point where I feel like with a lot of players, they get to that point where they've like made a lot of extra credit and they're like, this is good enough. Like there's none of that. And I remember looking at like the game, like how they were 2-1 with B-Bats at like 36 and like him at like 130, and I was just like, with how they're fighting, I would not be surprised if he 2-stocked him. And then he just did. And I was like,
God.
wow. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, he's so, like, wow. Like, to be outclassed so thoroughly in, like, because B-Bats played really well for the first half of, like, the first, like, 66% of that game. And I was like, wow, he's playing, like, really well. Like, this is impressive. But, like, at the end, he's just completely, like, yeah, he just got completely shut down. And I'm like, wow, what a good stuff. Like, that was a clinic. But I know what you mean. Like it's like a combination of like where they learned the game, and like what their level of execution is, and what they're like there's a psychological component too that's like informing that execution, that like forms like who they are as a player. And I feel like a lot of the fun of getting to high level is finding out who that player is.
Mm-hmm. I fully agree.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, this is going to sound like so... No, what? I should not say this. This is going to sound so ignorant. Whatever. I'm going to do it anyway. I feel like there's a reason we have, like, so many trans women, like, at, like, top level. Because I feel like if this is ultimately a game... Like, I don't know if there's anything there, or if it's just, like, we're a statistical freak or whatever. But I feel like, God, if this game is really about, like, finding out who you are as a person and confronting that, then, like... God, what group of people have more experience with doing that than them, right? Like, real talk. And to show up, like, and still be authentic, even in spite of all that, like, that's so impressive to me. Like, that's so sick. So, yeah, that was kind of my shower thoughts. I will prepare to get canceled and, like, banned from the community, but...
Oh, good. There's always opportunity to cut that out of the bot if you want.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is something about, like, identity and, like, just finding, like, being willing to confront who you are that is, like, a really integral part of that journey. And I do think I don't think that that's a coincidence. Like, that people who would be good at that or who have had to do that are, like, are excelling. Like, so just, like, period. Because, I feel like the biggest thing that holds people back from getting better is just when they don't do that. When they don't confront that there's a limitation, or they don't confront like who they are as a player, and then they spend their entire time like improving at skills that don't really help them. Yeah, because we've all seen that before. Like we all know that person who's like, oh my God, I'm getting camped, and it's like they can't like move out of shield, and it's like
for me it just tends to be like it's always a little frustrating seeing that someone is just kind of boils down the game super hard to like camping or approaching as if they're like two separate opposite dynamics, just black and white, without any sort of like consideration for like positioning or stage control or anything else along those lines. And it's like I can see where you're plateauing.
It's like I thought you were gonna say I can see where you're coming from, and I was like, oh, you're mean. Like I would say in our last little bit, I feel the same way about neutral and advantage. Neutral and punish, because like, and I get that those have a little bit more like discrete. Those have a few more discrete elements from each other, but like, what is advantage state if not the intersection of those two ideas? And if they intersect, are they really all that disconnected? You know?
Yeah.
I really like our talks. And you know what? You are very smart. I can see why you're gunning for number one, like in HDR, because you're very bright. I gotta say, like that's really, you're very impressive. You are something.
I super appreciate it. I hope I can carry those talents over into Melee Ness as well.
I mean, it's a little bit like it's harder to really like make him shine in that environment, but like honestly, like You are just something to behold. I'm really glad that we started working together.
Yeah, I'm really glad too. I've been having a blast with our coaching sessions so far.
What did you expect, if you don't mind me asking, when we started working together? Did you think I'd be like a nerd like Drugged Fox or something, and I'd just be telling you like, oh yeah, you should up tilt here? Did you like...
Honestly, I had no expectations. Part of the reason why I ended up choosing you is because Ness, honestly.
I mean, it's as good a reason as any.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you go, but this has been lovely. And yeah, I'll take care. And if you want, like, I know that a few of my friends are getting into PM. I think there was a big update or something. So
Yeah,
I
there
will
was.
probably, you might, maybe you'll, I don't know if they have ranked or whatever, but who knows? Maybe you'll see me at a tournament one of these days.
Oh my god. Are you going to Riptide, by the way?
I don't have plans to, but like my passport is, I think, expiring next year, so I should probably figure that out now. Why? When's Riptide? Like, when is that?
That is the first weekend of September.
Okay, so I got a
I'm
little bit of
planning
time.
on going. And yeah, I guess that's gonna have melee ultimate rivals, what have you, but the Shadow Major is also gonna be nearby. And I'll be going to that for HDR, and there'll also be PM, so.
Ooh, okay. I will have questions about... I have to go, but I will have follow-up questions about that, so we'll talk soon. Sound good?
Sure, sounds good.
All right, take care, Kumatora.